Pizza Hut does, I would assume, but I don't see one smiley face when you tell them what's coming. So I just wish there was some way we could have a little more input into what we say yes to, because we don't have many of these commercial parcels left, and it makes me sad to see a couple of them filled up with something that won't bring $1.
It's been interesting to see the number of daycares that have expressed interest in this community. Right now we have 5 at some level of development, then all kind of at once. You know, in the time that I've been here, we've had 5 institutional daycares that have been invested in some degree. So, but yeah, that's again not a function of our zoning. When somebody zones a property neighborhood commercial, they have that list of uses that are available to them, and then it's just a matter of what they market to the property owner, who they market to, and who decides to participate in our community.
All right, if we don't have any other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, got a second? All right, motion passes.
Item 4A, to discuss, consider, and take any necessary action regarding approval of a zoning request from agriculture to neighborhood commercial to construct and operate a donut shop, case number ZR 24-008.
All right. I'll be giving the presentations tonight because I was a knucklehead and let Robbie have the week off, so. Yeah. That did pass, actually, so that was great. That was great. All right, so the first presentation tonight is going to be for a project called Donut. It's a zoning change request, project ID ZR24008. So this is a zoning change request on a piece of property to change the zoning from agriculture, which is the default kind of zoning class, to neighborhood commercial. This property owner desires to construct a donut shop on this property with a pickup window. Just a little idea of where that property is located. It's a triangular piece just on kind of to the southwest of Family Dollar on State Highway 66. It's currently a single agricultural lot, about 0.16 acres in size, pretty small, and it's currently vacant save some trees and some grass. So for a zoning change, there are 3 approval criteria that y'all are probably pretty familiar with. We'll run through those quickly to show the staff's evaluation of conformance with these criteria. Number 1 is whether the zoning request complies with the comprehensive plan and other adopted plans. Primarily regarding the comprehensive plan, the future land use plan designation for this area is dynamic neighborhood, which, as you know, is a mix of residential and commercial uses in close proximity to one another. Neighborhood commercial, as you can see in the image on the left, is one of the representative zoning districts. So staff find that the proposed zoning of neighborhood commercial and the proposed use as a small scale commercial use are both representative of the dynamic neighborhood place type. The second criterion is whether the request meets the character of the surrounding neighborhood. Of course, along Highway 66, there's a mix of uses in the immediate proximity. However, there are a mix of commercial and vacant lots, including Family Dollar to the northeast, State Highway 66 corridor to the south. Just across the highway and the railroad corridor is downtown. So staff find that the addition of another commercial use is compatible, and there are no specific Texas law or case law issues that we wanted to consider here. We sent out and published public notices for this case, first in the newspaper and then to 6 different property owners comprising those properties within 200 feet of the subject property. As of today, we received no responses either for or in favor of this, for or against this proposed zoning. We did run a fiscal analysis, as we do for many of our zoning cases. This being a pretty small project, you can see the outputs are pretty small. Notably, however, as Karen mentioned, donut shops and bakeries are explicitly exempted from sales tax in the state tax code. So unfortunately, even though I'm sure it could be wildly popular and sell a bunch of goods, we won't collect any sales taxes from that business. So we didn't calculate any sales tax revenue. Very small amount of property tax revenue given the small size of the property. But in all, because it's on a state highway and there's no private infrastructure really that the city would be responsible for, the revenue to cost ratio is just kind of inching over the one-to-one. So it is a net positive primarily from the property tax side of things. So staff's recommendation for the zoning request is approval. That ends my presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
So I do have a question. I'm going to tag on to Karen here. So the donut shop as a whole, anything they sell is not taxable because coffee in a cup is a taxable product. So does the donut shop itself get or is it certain things that they do sell will get a tax, but the, gelatinous, sugary,
Sure,
thing that we
sure.
all love will?
You're making me hungry. When I reviewed the tax code, and I'm not a specialist at all, it said that a bakery, a facility selling baked goods, is exempt. So it didn't specify only the baked goods themselves are exempt. So my first thought is that you really aren't going to get any sales taxes from there. I could be wrong, but based on my research and the anecdotal information that I received from our economic development team, my understanding is that the bakery itself does not collect or deliver sales tax to the city.
Ryan, is this the bakery itself? Are they making the donuts at this facility?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would be making them every day. They've owned this property for a long time, and we have actually met with them for a couple times, even since I was here.
Yeah.
And they make really good donuts because they bring them to the meetings, which is a plus. So, yeah, it'll be all on site, fresh preparation, like a typical donut shop you would find, around here.
I don't frequent them, but I'll go to this one because it's right here in Fate. My other question was, there was an explanation letter in file, and it was dated really old, like
Yeah.
November of 2020. Did this maybe become a COVID delay and now
Yeah,
it's
well,
back?
I don't know if it was COVID related, but they did submit it back in 2020, but then pulled, and then they just never changed it because it was the same exact application. Not something we caught or really thought was important to update. Probably would have been better to have an updated application, but it still had the same information, same people, so that's where we were.
Okay, I got two questions. They're easy. I miss a Fate donut shop, so I'm not gonna harm that. Do we know anything, since the applicant is not here, if this is their first go-around with a donut shop, or if they have donut shops other places?
I know they have donut shops in the Houston area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my other...
Maybe even more local too, but I know that they're down in Houston.
Down in Houston at least. Okay, good. So they know the business
Oh,
model.
yeah.
I just don't want it to come up and then all of a sudden just go away because I miss my donuts. The other thing is I was kind of looking at the plat, and some of the information was very high level. Are they intending on cutting into the Family Dollar parking lot so there's multiple exit points, or is it just the one?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and we're not at that stage yet.
Okay.
But that would be my recommendation.
Okay.
Family Dollar has a strip of green land. Let me show you real quick. On their western boundary that they're not really using. So you can see that right there. I guess you can't see my cursor. But as you can see just to the north of the donut shop, within the Family Dollar parcel, there's that strip there that's not being used. I think having like a drive and an access easement from Family Dollar would be very beneficial.
I know it's not part of this whole thing, but I just wanted to
Yeah,
see if that was
yeah,
kind
that's
of in the
something, of
works.
course, that's
Okay.
something that we work with them on to try to improve circulation, improve access, reduce congestion. Those are all
Yeah.
goals that we have.
That's not going to change my thoughts on how I'm going to vote, but I just wanted, because it's just a very dangerous corner, and I'm
It
just
sure
looking
is.
out for the safety of that.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Anyone else have anything? Okay. Then, open up public hearing?
Applicant presentation. For the record, the applicant is not present,
Okay. Okay,
and now we can move on to the public hearing.
all right, and it is 6:16. Can open up a public hearing.
And I do not have anyone that would like to speak at this time.
All right, so 6:16, we will close public hearing. And so I'll kind of, David, do you have anything at all?
Well, I was kind of curious about the no tax that they pay. Is, because I know they charge you tax whenever you purchase them. So does that just go to the state and nothing go to the city? Is that a city regulation or?
It says in the tax code that's referenced in the packet, it says that bakeries are exempt from sales tax. So presumably, they wouldn't collect sales tax on their sales. Now, if you have paid sales tax on certain items, then perhaps Carrie's question about the coffee is, the answer would be different, that maybe certain items that they sell would be taxed, maybe if they have cold drinks or something from a cooler, but yeah, the baked goods, and perhaps the bakery itself, is exempt per the tax code. So, for example, our friends at Fort Checks, they don't collect sales tax on their kolaches and koblazniks.
I found something on the comptroller's website that may be helpful. It says bakery items sold by a business that qualifies as a bakery are not taxable. A bakery is a retail location where more than 50% of the sales consists of bakery items sold from a display case or counter and consumed off premises. So there's a 50% threshold. If that helps anyone.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. I think it's a great idea. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's a great idea, too. I'll second the traffic issue. Traffic here is an issue, period, across all of Fate. Putting another turn in and off of 66, in my mind, is not the greatest idea, but.
Karen? No. All right, Ashley? Autumn? All right, and my only thing it'll be great if they could have, access through the Dollar General there. I remember there were some conversations with TxDOT and right-of-way and flood part over there. So, if they can make it happen, that'll be great. So with all that said, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve case number ZR 24008.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, then we can. And motion passes.
On to 4B, to discuss, consider, and take any necessary action regarding approval of a specific use permit for a tattoo studio, case number SUP 24-004.
Okay, for this item, our friend Dakota is back in the audience here. This is for Sticks and Stones Tattoo Studio, specific use permit, project ID SUP 24004. So, this is a specific use permit to authorize the operation of a tattoo studio within the Glory Center's commercial strip development on the north side of I-30. The site is owned general commercial, and per our table of allowed uses, this use requires a specific use permit. So you, of course, will remember the recommendation for approval for this use at a different location some months ago. For various reasons, that did not materialize, so the business owners needed to find a new location. Thankfully, they found an empty suite in the Glory Center, and they've worked out a lease agreement, and so they need to secure this SUP to be able to move forward on that. So here's an aerial of the Glory Center. It's a multi-suite condominium commercial development. So each of these suites are actually condoized, which is kind of uncommon from what I've seen. There are 14 suites in all, and then the proposed SUP is for suite 1500, which is the northernmost suite furthest away from the highway. Again, the site is zoned general commercial. It's on the northern I-30 frontage road, approximately 0.35 miles west of Wood Creek Boulevard. So for a specific use permit, there are a number of approval criteria. We've kind of lumped some of these together, not necessarily chronologically or numerically, but more as they are somewhat similar in nature. So the first criterion is whether it meets the purpose of the zoning district, which again is general commercial. Tattoo studios are permitted with a specific use permit, and as a personal service, staff find that the tattoo studio meets the intent of the zone. Item B is whether it complements or is compatible with the surrounding uses, and item E is whether it's in scale with existing neighborhood. So this is a suite among a mix of other commercial uses for the site, and there are all sorts of different commercial uses, from a driving school to a cleaner. And so it's just kind of one of a mix of commercial services that are present in this location. It's served by the highway, and there's also vacant land around it, zoned for future commercial uses, so it will be in a compatible location for its commercial use. Criterion C is that it adequately mitigates traffic impacts, and F is that it mitigates any adverse impacts due to access, parking, etc. So there's no anticipated increases in the commercial traffic for this location beyond what's already there. There's plenty of parking, the access is reasonable. It was built to serve all of the 14 suites, plus the Encounters Church, which also is served by those same access points. So we don't think this use would dramatically increase or change existing conditions. Criterion D is whether it contributes to or enhances and promotes quality of life for residents. This is a personal service not currently offered in FATE, and so we welcome them to provide this service for those who would like it. So for the public notice, we published the new location and new hearing dates in the newspaper, as well as sent it to all properties within 200 feet. And so that means we sent 12 mailed notices. We had 0 responses as of today, so none for or none against. We didn't conduct a fiscal analysis because it's purely served by a TxDOT road. There's no new infrastructure, and there's no new development, so there's nothing changing that has a tangible impact on our costs or revenues that we felt needed to be evaluated. So with that, staff recommend approval of this SUP. I'm happy to take questions.
David?
I don't have any questions because I know we approved it once and it didn't work out where it was going, so I don't really see a big issue on this one.
Okay, Taylor, who I called Matt, so I'm sorry.
I'm good. Sorry it didn't work out the first time. Glad you're back. Hopefully this will get approved.
Karen?
A question for Ryan. When you say these are condominium ownership, is each unit in this 12 or so unit building individually owned, or does one owner own all the units?
I believe that they're still owned by the same individual and leased, but they're separate, and maybe Ashley knows about it because she used to be there, right? What do you have to say?
So I actually own one of the suites there. So some of them are owned individually, and then someone does own the remaining suites and leases them herself.
But the condominium aspect allows you, I guess, to
She
own
just
one, should
happened to
you
be getting
choose
rid
to.
of one, and I bought it.
And I echo what my colleagues have said. I'm really glad that you came back and found, persisted and found a location to work in Fate. I think you'll be a good addition. I might get my first tattoo at 70. I don't know. That's a threat. It could happen.
You.
I'm going to echo all of their sentiments. I spoke for you when you were at the city council meeting, just in your public hearing, just to show my support, and I'm so happy you found another location, so.
Keep trying. This one definitely looks a lot better. I know that y'all probably already know all the stuff that's gone on. I appreciate y'all being understanding.
All right, so that takes care of the staff summary. Do we need to do the applicant presentation?
If he has anything he wants to add,
As a
otherwise,
formality, we
Yeah.
should.
If you'd like to, you can state your name, please, for the record.
Dakota Wooldridge, really same thing as last time. Nothing's changed but the location. My wife did want to say sorry she couldn't be here tonight. She wanted to be, so, appreciate y'all even giving us another shot. I like Fate. It's a cool little town. Like I said before, I wanna grow with y'all, so appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you. All right, public hearing, and it is 6:27. We will open the public hearing.
I do not have any public comment forms.
6:27, we will close the public hearing. Autumn, do you have a question?
I do. This is actually for the applicant. Just because you're going into a building now, this is just for my knowledge, because you have a pre-established building that's got everything running. What is your anticipated time of launching? I couldn't ask you this before, so I
all
can
good.
now.
I said my piece and took off kind of quick. I didn't even give you a chance, sorry. So our lease is going to start like at the beginning of October if all this, we get the approval. So, hopefully within like weeks after that,
Okay.
we want to get started on construction like right away, and that should take, hopefully no more than, like I said, a couple of weeks. We'll probably start working on getting everything that we need to supply the place, before then if we can, because everything always looks pretty hopeful. Like I said, y'all all been cool, so got high hopes on this one.
Yeah, and
So-
how many rooms are you going to have set up, or how many chairs?
We're aiming for a total of like 6 or 7 booths, one of those being a piercer and then the tattoo artist.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Anybody else? Huh?
Ashley? Karen? Jeff? Tyler? All right, so then we will consider taking a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval for SUP 24-002.
I'll second.
We got a second. All vote. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Item 5, Director of Planning and Development Services reports, announcements pertaining to city activities, upcoming events, future legislative activities, and other matters related thereto.
Mr. Chair, I only have 2 things tonight. First, Celebrate Fate is this coming Saturday, so information's on the city's website, Facebook page. If you're interested in going, should be a good time. And 2, I'd like to announce that our department has received, for its 2nd consecutive year, from the American Planning Association's Texas chapter, the Planning Excellence Award, which is a recognition of the work that our department does to maintain current plans, higher education standards, opportunities for training for our planning and zoning commissioners, and other things that are just important to commit to best practices and a well-operating department. So we're really happy that we received that recognition. I believe there were like 27 cities across the state that received it. And we're actually the only one in Rockwell County that received it. Maybe we're the only one that applied, I don't know. But it's nice to have that recognition, and we're gonna continue to work hard to excel and maintain that high quality and high performance. So we'll be updating our plaque on the wall, and maybe I'll be able to announce it next year too, we'll see. That's it for tonight.
No, that awesome. You know, congratulations, certainly well deserved. Anybody, one last? Nope, all right. Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion passes. Good meeting. Have a good night.